I shouldn't be reading this file, and you shouldn't be listening. But since you're already here, I want you to know exactly what I found inside a locked cabinet in a forgotten sub-basement of the FBI field office in Helena, Montana. The cabinet didn't have a digital lock or a barcode like the others. Just a rusted metal door, a broken nameplate, and a warning scratched by hand: do not open. Do not investigate. The folder inside was labeled Case 77-041, The Boy Who Returns. The documents were redacted, partly burned, and smelled like old pinewood mixed with metal, like dried blood. My name is Special Agent Elias Ward. And what I'm about to tell you was never meant to be spoken out loud. The case began on December 21, 1998, in a town called Pine Hollows, population 412. The local police chief had reported a strange disappearance involving an 8-year-old boy named Daniel Whitmore. According to the initial 911 transcript, Daniel had vanished from his bedroom without any signs of forced entry. But what drew federal attention weren't the footprints found outside his window, bare, human, but way too large to belong to any adult. They were 15 inches long, and they stopped in the middle of the backyard, as if the creature walked into the air. That's where I should have stopped reading. But I kept going. Inside the file was the first interview transcript with the boy's mother, Karen Whitmore. She kept repeating the same sentence over and over: Daniel didn't scream. He followed someone he knew. The agent back then, Agent Noah Fletcher, tried calming her, but her responses quickly turned strange. She said Daniel had described a friend who called himself Mr. Hush. A tall man with a face that wasn't fully there, like his features had melted. Daniel told her Mr. Hush visited his room at night, whispering stories about a place where the snow never melts and the stars don't move. When the mother said this, she wasn't crying. She wasn't shaking. She was smiling. That smile was highlighted in the file, ink circling it, like the agent wanted to warn someone who'd read it later. The next pages contained photographs. If you've ever seen crime scene images, you know what to expect: blurred faces, time-stamped corners, the cold blue of old film. But these photos were different. Every picture taken inside the Whitmore home had streaks of black running across them, like shadows moving while the camera shutter clicked. One photo made my stomach twist. The window in Daniel's room showed a reflection, a tall figure standing behind the photographer. But the agent who took the photo reported he was alone in the room. The next week of investigation was routine, until December 26, when a hiker found a child standing in the woods near Pine Hollows. It was Daniel. But he wasn't 8 years old anymore. The notes from the forensics team said his height was the same. His weight was the same. His clothes were the same. But his face, it was older. Around 14 or 15. Age progressed, like someone had fast-forwarded his childhood in just 5 days. When the boy was questioned, he didn't speak. He just stared at the agents with a look that didn't belong to any child. And when they checked his skin under UV light, they found fingerprints, adult fingerprints, embedded into his arms. As if large hands had held him for years. The file included the audio transcript of his first attempt at communication. Here's what it said. Daniel, do you hear him? He followed me back. Agent Fletcher, who followed you, Daniel? Daniel, Mr. Hush. He said I couldn't leave alone. The following scribbles in the file were frantic, overlapping. Fletcher wrote, Boy complains of hearing footsteps behind walls. Claims faces watch him from corners of room. Requested immediate transfer. But Daniel didn't make it to the transfer. At exactly 3:14 a.m. on December 29th, the security cameras of the holding facility caught every light flickering off at once. For 12 seconds the recording went pitch black. And when power returned, Daniel was lying on the floor, curled like a fetus, rapidly aging backward. The footage showed his bones shifting, shrinking, his muscles tightening, his face smoothing. When the transformation ended, he was an infant. The baby opened its eyes and whispered in a man's voice. Not enough time, he found another. The next morning, the infant died. And that should have been the end of the file. But there was one more section, stapled with rusted metal, so tightly it tore when I tried opening it. This part wasn't typed. It was handwritten. No dates. No author name. Just one sentence at the top. If you are reading this, the cycle has begun again. The report described how Agent Fletcher started experiencing symptoms similar to the boy, hearing footsteps in empty rooms, seeing distorted faces in the edges of mirrors, feeling watched while sleeping. His colleagues dismissed it as trauma. But on January 2nd, Fletcher didn't show up to work. His apartment door was found open. On the table was a cassette tape, labeled in red marker. Do not play. The transcript of that tape was in the file. Agent Fletcher's voice was shaky, sometimes whispering, sometimes gasping like something was pressing on his chest. I know you're coming for me. I know you've always been coming. I shouldn't have looked into his eyes. He showed me his world. He showed me the place where the children go when they disappear. The ground isn't ground. It's soft. Like skin. And underneath, something breathes. There were sounds on the tape. Scratching. Slow, rhythmic breathing. Then Fletcher again. I saw the children walking in a circle. All holding hands. All older than when they left. They are not missing. They are waiting. Waiting for Mr. Hush to choose who returns. The ones he sends back don't come back alone. The tape ended with a scream, so loud the mic distorted. The file says Fletcher's body was never found. The final page, the one that stopped me cold, was a sealed photograph. When I pulled it out, the black and white image showed Agent Fletcher's apartment wall. 5 words were scratched into the plaster by hand. I returned through the listener. That's when the room shook. I didn't imagine it. The cabinet behind me rattled like something inside wanted to break free. The lights flickered. I smelled cold air, actual cold, like winter had crawled into the basement. And then, this part one can't explain, I heard breathing behind me. Slow, deep, patient. The breathing of someone tall. I turned around, but nothing was there. The final handwritten note in the file said, "He enters through attention. Close the file before you finish reading, or he will find you." I closed it instantly. But I had read too far. I spoke it aloud. And now you've listened to it. The last line in the case file, the one written in a slanted hand that wasn't human, said, "The listener becomes the next door." And the moment I read that, I realized something horrifying, something Fletcher understood too late. Mr. Hush doesn't follow footsteps. He follows stories. He follows the one who listens. And you've listened all the way to the end. So if you hear breathing tonight, slow, deep, from a corner your eyes won't look at, don't turn around. Don't say his name. And whatever you do, don't listen for a second time. Because the file wasn't warning me. It was warning you.